A taste of Portugal, including the foods and drinks sampled. We began on a transatlantic cruise from Fort Lauderdale aboard the Holland America ship the Oosterdam. Breakfast begins with the buffet in the Lido Market. Lunch, often in the Vista dining room, was complete with rosé wine. Food and dining are part of the entertainment. Specialized dining rooms, such as the Pinnacle Grill, offer extra choices. The single pickleball court was a busy place. Many mornings were spent reading at the library or solving a jigsaw puzzle. The promenade was the perfect place for a walk. Later, we would enjoy one of the bars and lounges for entertainment. The World Stage offered top-class entertainment every evening.
The first stop is in the Azores, at Ponta Delgada. After 8 days at sea, it was great to be off the ship. The Azores are a group of 9 volcanic islands, forming an archipelago in the mid-Atlantic Ocean. The Azores belong to Portugal, but they are 1,500 kilometers from Lisbon. We found the Cascara Bakery to be a very inviting place to enjoy a coffee and fresh pastry. The waitress helped me with my pronunciation of obrigado. Next, we took a tour to an exciting vista of the Sete Cidades, or Twin Lakes. They were formed in a crater of a dormant volcano. There is a bridge that connects the two lakes. According to local folklore, the lakes were formed from the tears of a blue-eyed princess and a green-eyed shepherd who shared a forbidden love. In addition, we stopped at the Aruda pineapple plantation. The pineapples are intensely sweet, but smaller than other pineapples.
Another full day at sea before we arrived at Madeira Island's capital, Funchal. Directly from the cruise, we took a 4x4 jeep tour. We stopped at Câmara de Lobos, a small fishing village. It is famed for its picturesque harbor with colorful traditional boats. It inspired Winston Churchill, who spent time painting the charming scenery in the 1950s. Madeira is often called the Pearl of the Atlantic, or the Hawaii of Europe. Madeira is renowned for its year-round mild climate, dramatic cliffs, and its fortified wine, which has flavors of caramel, nuts, and dried fruit. As we toured the island, saw the banana crops along the side of the road, we also drove past some of the happiest cows on earth. They have no predators on the island and live in an ideal climate. The tour took us to the mountaintops for spectacular views of the area. The tour guide told us stories of Nun Village and how the roads were built. After a rough cross-country drive, we arrived at a mountaintop bar to sample some of the local drink called pancha. Pancha is made from 50-proof rum and some of the local orange juice. Our brief tour of Madeira Island was a memorable experience. Top highlights included the perfect weather, a pancha drink, and stopping at Câmara de Lobos, departing Funchal and Madeira Island.
Another full day at sea before we arrive at Gibraltar. We had not arranged for an excursion, so we walked from the ship to the Old Town area. The Old Town shows the signs of its history as a strategic military bastion. The Old Town is surrounded by stone walls. Throughout history, Gibraltar has been a military and economic gateway to the Mediterranean Sea. It has been fought over in every major world conflict.
And finally, here we are. We are in Porto. Porto is an ancient and vibrant city. It is well known for port wine and the entrance to the Douro River. Our lovely Airbnb is in the very heart of the old town of Porto. But hunger overtakes us, and we immediately go to Café Santiago for Francesina. Francesina is a sandwich of ham, gravy, and sometimes an egg on top. The following day, we start with a tuk-tuk tour of the many sights of Porto. We start at the Church of Saint Ildefonso to see the blue tiles. Almost across the street is the São João National Theatre. A little further is the Monastery of Serra do Pilar. Churches of Carmelitas and Carmo are separated by one of the world's narrowest houses. A landmark is the Maria Pia Bridge, designed by Gustave Eiffel. The Crystal Palace and Gardens were designed to look like an English palace and garden in London. The guide dropped us at Taberninha do Manel for lunch. Everything on the menu looked so very good. We had difficulty selecting. It was truly a memorable experience and taste sensation. When we finished lunch, we found that Kalen port tasting was next door, and it had tables available waiting for us. To add to the port tasting experience, there was chocolate to be paired with the wine. We are in Porto, the home of port. One must. To no surprise, the port, which is aged 30 years, was far superior in smoothness. We left with a bottle of 30-year-old port.
The next day was an early start for the Douro Valley, lunch and port tasting. On a beautiful warm morning, the bus took us to the small village of Regua. We had a coffee and walked along the river and saw the views of the vineyards and of the wineries. In a distant hill, we could see Sandeman wines, as marked by their symbol of the Dawn. The Dawn is dressed in a Portuguese student's cape and a traditional Andalusian hat from Spain. The bus dropped us off at the marina on the Douro River, where the boat was waiting to take us. We had a very scenic tour of the Douro and the many vineyards and wineries. The Douro Valley's vineyards featured dramatic step terraces, built to tame steep rocky hillsides for viticulture. The older terraces were carved by hand, enabling grape growing while optimizing sun exposure and preventing soil erosion. The terraces date back to the time of the Romans. Planting and harvesting were done by hand. On steep slopes, staircases were built with rock, allowing workers to ascend the slope. Following the boat tour, the bus took us to the Caves Santa Marta wine estate for wine tasting and lunch. We were taken to a cellar where extremely large vats of port were curing. The cellar maintains a temperature for aging the wine. We were treated to 3 different ports. Finally, we returned to Regua and went to the Tauriga wine shop. Tauriga is Portugal's flagship red grape. Of the Tauriga wines, my favorite is the Ruby Port, with its deep red color and distinctive flavor.
Everyone, welcome. So what do we have for your wonderful dessert today? We have a Douro wine, a red, and 2 different Porto.
We flew from Porto to Faro in the Algarve region of Portugal. The Algarve is Portugal's sun-drenched southernmost region, renowned for spectacular cliff-backed beaches. There, we rented a car to allow us the freedom to tour the many villages and sites. We drove about 40 kilometers to the eastern Algarve. Here we found Tavira, one of the prettiest towns in the Algarve. Tavira is a historic gem. It beautifully blends Moorish heritage with traditional Portuguese architecture. It spans along the banks of the Gilao River. We were fortunate to find a lovely Airbnb that was well situated within close walking distance to the Dr. Antonio Padinha Square, where there were many exceptional restaurants and bars. The first evening, we found the Alagoa Cafe for a relaxing drink in the warm evening. The second evening, it was Primitivo Restaurante, where they cook exclusively with wood fire, respecting the essence of each ingredient. We began with a dish of oysters baked over charcoal. The desserts were most memorable. Reg had a dish of pineapple, drenched with port, and a dollop of ice cream. I had a cup of pistachio pudding. It was a sweet, creamy, and distinctively nutty experience that feels like a cross between rich pudding and fluffy dessert.
Tavira does not have massive resorts and rowdy strip nightlife. Instead, it is characterized by quiet evenings and local seafood restaurants. The neighborhood had extremely narrow streets, sometimes only large enough to accommodate one car. Historically, homes that belonged to the upper class were decorated with blue tiles. The whitewashed buildings retain hints of centuries-old Moorish influence. We found the local pickleball club. There were 4 courts. The day we were there was a club social tournament. We were unable to play, but they were welcoming and invited us back for another day. The walls of Castelo de Tavira and iconic watchtower were built during the Moorish occupation in the 11th and 12th centuries. The Christians took the castle in 1242. The devastating earthquake of 1755 leveled much of Tavira and destroyed most of the castle. The remaining castle walls stand as a symbol of the city's heritage. The inner courtyard houses a lush, quiet botanical garden, filled with native plants and flowers. Adjacent is the church Santa Maria do Castello. The church was built over top of a former Arab mosque. The structure was also damaged in the 1755 earthquake. The church was rebuilt, maintaining an Islamic and Christian appearance. Tavira Island is a sandy barrier island, famous for its white sand and calm turquoise waters. The ferry to the island runs frequently. Once on the island, the beach is spectacular. We looked to rent umbrellas and sun loungers. Later, we found a restaurant to satisfy our thirst.
Fuzeta is known as an authentic fishing village in Portugal's eastern Algarve. Being in need for a coffee and a pastry, we found Padaria da Vila da Fuzeta. The people were welcoming. We watched local people socializing over a coffee. This appeared to be a daily activity. After coffee, we drove west to Olhão. It is known for its cubic architecture, which is a part of the Moorish heritage. Homes are designed to look like a cube. As you look over the city, the houses have flat roofs. As we entered the shopping area, we found a labyrinth of alleyways, with quality shopping and restaurants on every corner. We learned later that the winding streets were intentionally designed to confuse pirates. Enjoy the experience. Silves is a jewel in the central Algarve region. The main landmark is Castelo de Silves. It was built of red sandstone and is well preserved. In Silves, our Airbnb host was Dominique, a French-speaking superhost. The place had a rooftop deck and a jacuzzi. He prepared marvelous breakfasts.
Although Lagos is a vibrant and exciting town, we went to Lagos specifically to see the famed Benagil Caves. The Benagil Caves are a 25-minute Zodiac ride from Lagos. The caves surround the small village of Benagil. There are 7 different groups of caves. We took the Zodiac tour. The tour combined the thrill of a high-speed ride with front-row access to nature. Carvoeiro Village is a resort town. The beach acts as the town square and daily entertainment center. Carvoeiro Cave, also known as Smuggler's Cove, is adjacent to the beach. The legends claim that the cave was used by pirates. Carvoeiro Trail is a short hike of about 600 meters. The trail uses tunnels to take you into the Algar Seco, which is also known as the Dollhouse. It gets its name from 2 caves that look like a pair of doll eyes looking out at the ocean. The next beach, Sentinese, is an outstanding beach that is sheltered by golden limestone cliffs. It offers calm, clear turquoise waters for swimming. It is the western starting point for the 7 Hanging Valleys Trail. From the Zodiac, we were able to see parts of the trail. The 7 Hanging Valleys Trail is a gorgeous 6-kilometer coastal hike, renowned for dramatic limestone cliffs and beaches. Access to the beach is often through tunnels which were carved into the rock. A short distance away, we see the Alfenzina Lighthouse on the rugged cliffs. It has a panoramic view of the Atlantic Ocean. The Point Saragoca has 2 rugged caves that look like a double-car garage door. The caves do not extend very far into the rock face. These caves are often referred to as the garage. Benagil Beach is enclosed by beautiful golden cliffs and is a relatively small beach with limited space. It is often bustling with tourists. The nearby Benagil Cave is famous for its dome-like limestone rock formation and its eye, a natural circular opening in the ceiling that allows sunlight to illuminate the sandy beach and turquoise waters below. The natural arches of Benagil, sometimes called M-Rock or the Cathedral, are located about a kilometer east of Benagil. They are magnificent sea-carved limestone formations. Beside the arches is Marina Beach, which is the east end of the 7 Hanging Valleys Trail. The beach is ranked among the most beautiful beaches in the world. Algar dos Capitanes is also known as the Captain's Cave or God's Eyes. Algar dos Capitanes is a smaller and darker cave that has 2 ocular ports in the roof. When the sunlight streams through the 2 holes, they resemble 2 eyes looking down on you. The Yellow Submarine is a golden-hued rock formation located off the coast, to the east of Two Eyes Cave. It is named for its cylindrical shape and pointed tip, which closely resembles a surfaced submarine. Next, we drove a short distance southwest of Lagos to enjoy the Ponta da Piedade. The name means Point of Mercy. It is a group of golden rock formations, hidden sea caves, and natural arches. Lagos boasts an old town filled with cobblestone streets, traditional ceramic tiles, and bustling plazas. By day, it's a great spot for exploring traditional Portuguese architecture and plazas like Praça Luís de Camões. By night, the streets come alive with pulsating bars and local dining.
Lisbon is famous for its hilly, picturesque setting, yellow trams, and vibrant neighborhoods. Historically, Lisbon was rebuilt following the devastating earthquake of 1755. We stayed at the Marriott Residence Inn, which was ideally located in the center of Lisbon. The hotel gave us excellent accommodations. We were across the street from the Campo Pequeno, a historic red brick building. The ground floor is an arena for entertainment, and the lower floor for exclusive shopping. Pastéis de nata tarts were invented over 300 years ago by monks at the Jerónimos Monastery in the Belém district of Lisbon. Served warm, they are a delicious egg custard tart. At most restaurants in Portugal, couvert is served as a snack. The couvert is like the Spanish tapas. Fortunately, we had a private guided tuk-tuk tour of Lisbon. Lisbon is very challenging to navigate the hills, winding steep roads, broken cobblestone, and distance between monuments. The National Pantheon is the final resting place for Portugal's most distinguished figures. It honors presidents, writers, artists, and national heroes. Lisbon's best viewpoint. The tuk-tuk driver took us to the viewpoint of Our Lady of the Mount. It is one of Lisbon's most popular panoramic viewpoints, presenting unobstructed views of São Jorge Castle and the Tagus River. From here, we can see the 25th of April Bridge, which is an iconic suspension bridge that spans the Tagus River. It is famous for its resemblance to San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. To the left, we could see St. George's Castle, a historic Moorish castle sitting on the highest hill. The castle, an iconic landmark, overlooks the Tagus River and the city. Later, we went to the Moorish Quarter, which lies beneath the St. George's Castle. The king confined the defeated Moors to the lower area outside the city walls. Here we saw the bright yellow trolleys rattling their way through the streets. Next, we saw the Bairro Alto, literally meaning the upper district. By day, it is a sleepy area with shops and restaurants. By night, it transforms to party town. It is famous for traditional fado music and vibrant nightlife. Our guide dropped us near the Restorers Monument. It commemorates Portugal's victory in the Restoration War against Spain, which regained the country's independence in 1640. A short distance away, we found Santa Justa Lift. It was designed by an apprentice of Gustave Eiffel and features wrought ironwork that connects the lower Baixa district to the upper Carmo Square. We concluded the day with a wine at the base of the lift.
The last leg of the journey was to Sintra. It is a fairy tale destination just outside of Lisbon. Sintra has been made famous by its castles and nature's beauty. Despite everything Sintra offers, we were tired of being tourists. We resolved to enjoy our hotel and walk through the village. Sintra does not allow vehicle traffic into the center of the village. On our walk, we found Quintra da Regalera. It is an enchanting early 20th century estate that has a romantic-style palace with labyrinth gardens. It houses the famous initiation wells. We only viewed it from the outside. We did not see the spiral initiation well. We did not go to the Peña Palace, Palacio da Peña, considered to be the icon of Sintra. The Peña Palace is a 19th century castle located on a mountaintop. It was originally a monastery that was transformed for the Portuguese royal family in the 1840s. Only from a distance did we see the castle of the Moors, which dates to the 8th century. This medieval fortress offers incredible panoramic views of the town and the Atlantic. For accommodations, Karen found Quintra dos Lobos, a quiet boutique hotel immediately outside of Sintra. The hotel has a comfortable outdoor dining area which we took advantage of for lunch. Breakfast and dinner were served in the outstanding dining room. It is in the dining room that we celebrated our anniversary. On the grounds were several fruit trees, including a kumquat tree. We took a walk on the property through the forest. There, we found a peaceful pool. Our very well-appointed room overlooked the gardens and a patio. Next door was a medieval pub called Casa do Fauno. Here, we were served by people dressed in period costumes. The drinks were named to sound like medieval drinks. We were surrounded by artifacts that at least appeared old. Sintra is a place that we must come back to.